There's a house, and it's flying through the sky.
It's a great time for all the fairy tale lovers because the final trailer for Jon M. Chu's Wicked, For Good, has been released. From the looks of it, the old-timers will be able to spot some crucial details that have been kept under wraps, and the movie is all set to follow the second act of Wicked's Broadway production. We'll finally have a setting where the story of Elphaba and Glinda will catch up with the Wizard of Oz storyline, and the first look of the trailer is quite promising. If you recall, the first Wicked movie ended with Glinda making the decision that she would stay back in the Emerald City to work with the wizard, and now some new twists are out in the open. In this video, we're going to take you through a detailed breakdown of the trailer, along with the hidden details and references that you may have missed along the way. Before we get into this explanation, we do have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to the channel. It's a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The Oz Dust Ballroom callback. Choreography as memory. There's a quick sweet shot of Glinda and Elphaba repeating their Oz Dust ballroom dance in front of the wizard. That's not filler, it's thematic glue. The trailer places this beat under warmer music to signal that, beneath the politics and PR warfare, their friendship is still the spine. It's a wordless reminder of who they were before they became symbols, which primes the payoff for good later. If you're watching on your phone, it's easy to swipe past it, but it's one of the trailer's most emotional stitches. Nessarose's terrifying transformation into the Wicked Witch of the East. We can't believe how they've reimagined Nessarose's transformation in this trailer, and it's absolutely haunting. We see Marissa Bode floating in her mother's bedchamber, and those silver slippers are glowing with this eerie red light that perfectly bridges the gap between the stage show's silver shoes and the movie's ruby slippers. But here's what's truly insane. Instead of the controversial, suddenly she can walk moment from the Broadway show, they've made Nessarose literally levitate. This is such a brilliant solution to the disability representation concerns while making her transformation even more supernatural and terrifying. The way she's floating in that decaying room, surrounded by the remnants of her family's past, creates this incredibly gothic atmosphere that shows how power corrupts. What's even more disturbing is that we can see the shoes transforming on her feet. They're not just magical anymore, they're becoming weapons of oppression. The filmmakers have essentially turned Nessarose into this ghostly figure of vengeance, and the visual of her floating there with those glowing slippers is going to give us nightmares. This scene promises to be one of the most visually striking and emotionally devastating moments in the entire sequel. Bach's horrific Tin Man transformation. The moment we saw Ethan Slater screaming, "What have you done to me?" in that metallic voice, we literally got chills. This trailer gives us our first real look at Bach's transformation into the Tin Man, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. You can see the genuine terror and anguish in his mechanical face as he realizes what he's become. What makes this even more devastating is that we know from the Broadway show that this transformation happens because of a spell gone wrong. Nessarose tries to make him love her, but instead turns him into this hollow metal shell of his former self. The makeup and prosthetics work here looks absolutely incredible, and Slater's performance, even through all that metal, is phenomenal. But here's what's really insane. In the trailer, we see Elphaba looking at him with this expression of horror and guilt, which suggests that either she was involved in the spell or she feels responsible for what's happened to him. The way they've designed his Tin Man look is also much more realistic and disturbing than the classic 1939 version. This actually looks like a person trapped inside metal, not just a costume. This transformation is going to be one of the most emotionally brutal moments of the film, especially for anyone who followed Bach's sweet, innocent character from the first movie. Fiyero's scarecrow reveal hidden in plain sight. This one absolutely broke our hearts when we spotted it in the trailer. There's this incredibly subtle moment where we see Elphaba touching what appears to be a straw-stuffed head, and if you look closely, you can see it's wearing Fiyero's distinctive green jacket. The way Cynthia Erivo delivers this moment with such tenderness and pain tells us everything we need to know about what happened to Jonathan Bailey's character. In the Broadway show, Elphaba casts a spell to protect Fiyero from harm, but the spell turns him into the scarecrow to save his life. What's insane about this reveal is how they've hidden it in plain sight. Casual viewers might not even realize what they're looking at, but fans of the musical will immediately understand the tragedy of this moment. The fact that Elphaba has to touch his face like this, knowing she's the one responsible for his transformation, adds such a layer of guilt and sacrifice to their love story. And here's the kicker. This means that when Dorothy meets the Scarecrow in her journey, she's actually meeting the love of Elphaba's life, completely unaware of the tragic backstory. The way they've filmed this scene suggests it's going to be one of the most emotionally devastating moments in the entire film, especially with that beautiful forest setting as seen in their "As Long as Your Mind" sequence. The Flying Monkeys Alliance foreshadowing. Here's something absolutely incredible that most people missed. We see Elphaba surrounded by flying monkeys in what appears to be her forest hideout, and they're clearly not attacking her. This is huge because in the first movie, these same creatures were her enemies, created through her first spell and used by the wizard to hunt her down. But in this trailer, we see them waiting for her instructions, suggesting they've switched sides and now serve her. What's really insane about this is that it shows how Elphaba has transformed from being hunted by these creatures to leading them. In the Broadway show, the wizard releases the flying monkeys as a gesture of goodwill, hoping to win Elphaba back to his side, but they choose to follow her instead. The way they filmed this scene, with Elphaba using magic to create fire while the monkeys hover around her, creates this incredible image of her as this powerful sorceress with a loyal army. This transformation from victim to leader is such a crucial part of Elphaba's journey into becoming the legendary Wicked Witch. The visual of her commanding these creatures that once terrorized her is going to be absolutely epic and shows how she's learned to turn the wizard's own weapons against him. Glinda's wedding dress Easter egg connection. We're obsessed with this detail that most people probably missed. Glinda's wedding dress in this trailer looks almost identical to the elaborate wedding scene from Jon M's other major film, Crazy Rich Asians. This isn't a coincidence, and it's actually brilliant storytelling through costume design. The way they've styled this wedding with the butterflies, the elaborate setting, and the sheer opulence mirrors that iconic Crazy Rich Asians wedding, but there's a dark twist here too. While the Crazy Rich Asians wedding was about true love triumphing, Glinda's wedding is clearly a political arrangement that she's forcing herself into while her heart belongs elsewhere. Jonathan Bailey's Fiyero looks absolutely miserable walking down that aisle, and you can see in Ariana Grande's performance that she's trying to convince herself that this is what she wants. What makes this even more tragic is that we know from other shots in the trailer that Elphaba is likely hiding somewhere at this wedding, watching the love of her life marry her former best friend. The visual parallels Chu's previous work and adds this layer of meta commentary about love, power, and the choices we make for social acceptance. This wedding is going to be absolutely devastating to watch. The Yellow Brick Road fight scene. There's this incredible moment in the trailer where we see Glinda and Elphaba having an actual physical confrontation on the Yellow Brick Road, and it's wild. Glinda literally slams her wand against Elphaba's broom in what looks like the most intense catfight between former best friends ever put to screen. What's insane about this scene is the symbolism. They're fighting on the very road that Dorothy will soon travel, literally battling over the future of Oz on this iconic pathway. The way they filmed this confrontation shows both characters at their most desperate. Glinda clinging to her role as the Good Witch while trying to maintain some connection to Elphaba, and Elphaba refusing to back down from her mission to expose the truth about the wizard. The physical nature of this fight suggests that their relationship has deteriorated beyond just ideological differences. This is personal, emotional, and heartbreaking. What makes it even more powerful is that we can see in their faces that neither of them really wants to be doing this, but they're both so committed to their chosen paths that they can't find their way back to each other. This scene is going to be brutal to watch, especially knowing how close these friends once were. Animals in cages hidden throughout the trailer. This detail is absolutely heartbreaking, and most people probably missed it, but throughout the trailer we keep seeing glimpses of animals in cages. There's this shot where Elphaba is walking down a long corridor with caged animals lining the walls, and it's such a powerful visual representation of the systemic oppression she's fighting against. We also see what appears to be stampeding animals during Glinda's wedding, which suggests that Elphaba's liberation efforts are finally paying off. What's really insane about this is how it connects to the broader themes of the story. These aren't just random animals, they represent everyone who's been silenced and oppressed by the wizard's regime. The fact that we see them breaking free during what should be Glinda's happiest moment shows how Elphaba's revolution is disrupting the comfortable lies that Oz society has built itself around. In one quick shot, we even see what might be Mr. Dillamond among the imprisoned animals, which would be absolutely devastating given his role in Elphaba's awakening to social justice. The way these animal liberation scenes are woven throughout the trailer suggests that freeing them will be a major plot point, and probably the moment where Glinda finally realizes that Elphaba was right all along. Glinda's bubble origin story revealed. You guys, I can't believe they're finally going to show us how Glinda got her iconic traveling bubble, and it's absolutely adorable. We see Madame Morrible presenting it to her like it's some kind of magical graduation gift, complete with a tap to bubble button that Glinda obsessively pushes over and over again while giggling. Michelle Yeoh's expression as she watches Glinda play with her new toy is priceless. You can see this mixture of amusement and maybe a little bit of concern about what she's created. What's brilliant about this scene is how it shows Glinda's character perfectly. She's genuinely delighted by the spectacle and glamour of it all, but she doesn't really understand the deeper implications of the power she's been given. The bubble isn't just transportation, it's a symbol of how she's been literally put in a protective shell by the establishment, insulated from the harsh realities that Elphaba is facing. When Morrible tells her that her wand really sells the look, it's such a perfect commentary on how Glinda's magic is more about performance and image than actual power. This scene is going to be both charming and tragic because we know that this beautiful, innocent moment is part of Glinda's journey away from her true self and a step towards becoming complicit in the wizard's oppression. The Grimmerie Page's Easter egg. Here's an incredible detail that book fans will absolutely lose their minds over. We see Elphaba reading from the Grimmerie, and if you pause at just the right moment, you can actually see some of the text on the pages. The spells visible appear to be written in that ancient language we heard in the first film, but what's really insane is that we can hear her practicing the no good deed incantation, Eleka Namen Namen Atum Atum Eleka Namen. This is such an incredible attention to detail because it shows how Elphaba is becoming more powerful and confident with the Grimmerie between the two films. In the first movie, she could barely control her magic, but now we're seeing her methodically studying and mastering these ancient spells. What makes this even more exciting is that the Grimmerie pages we see might give us hints about other spells she'll be casting throughout the film, possibly including the ones that transform Fiyero and Bach. The way they've designed the book itself, with those glowing pages and mysterious symbols, makes it feel like a character in its own right. This attention to the source material shows how much respect the filmmakers have for both the Broadway musical and Gregory Maguire's original novel. The Emerald City's Pink Makeover. Something we found absolutely fascinating in this trailer is how the Emerald City has been completely transformed with pink decorations and banners. This isn't just random set decoration, it's brilliant visual storytelling about how Glinda's influence has literally changed the aesthetic of the city. We see these massive banners comparing good Glinda with wicked Elphaba, and the entire city has taken on this pink and green color scheme that represents their opposing forces. What's really insane about this detail is how it shows the propaganda war that's happening in Oz. The wizard and Madame Morrible have essentially branded Glinda as their mascot, and her pink imagery is everywhere as a symbol of hope and goodness. But what makes this tragic is that we know Glinda is struggling with this role. She's become the face of a regime that she's starting to question. The visual contrast between the pink celebration and the darker realities happening beneath the surface creates this incredible tension. We see Elphaba writing "Our wizard lies" in the clouds above this pink paradise, and it's such a powerful moment of truth cutting through the beautiful lies. This transformation of the Emerald City shows how totalitarian regimes use aesthetics and spectacle to control their populations. Dorothy's companions' speaking roles revealed. This is huge. We actually get to hear Dorothy's companions speaking in the trailer, and it confirms they have substantial roles in the story. We hear the wizard giving them their quest: bring me the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West so I have proof that she's dead. What's absolutely insane about this is that we're seeing the classic Wizard of Oz story from a completely different perspective. These aren't heroes on a noble quest, they're essentially being used as assassins by a totalitarian dictator. The way they've integrated these iconic characters into the Wicked storyline is brilliant because it recontextualizes everything we thought we knew about their journey. When they're asking for courage, brains, and a heart from the wizard, they don't realize they're asking these things from the same person who's responsible for the oppression of an entire population. What makes this even more tragic is that we know the identities of the Scarecrow and Tin Man. They're Fiyero and Bach, people whose lives have been destroyed by the very system Dorothy is now serving. The cowardly lion that we see briefly in the trailer is likely another victim of the wizard's cruelty. This revelation completely changes how we'll view the classic story, showing how propaganda and manipulation can turn even well-meaning people into instruments of oppression. The rainbow color reversal in the wizard's chamber. Here's an incredibly subtle detail that most people missed. When we see the wizard's chamber with all those colorful hot air balloons, the rainbow colors are actually reversed from what we'd normally see. Instead of the traditional red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet order, they're backwards. This isn't a mistake either. It's actually brilliant storytelling because it represents how everything in Oz is essentially the opposite of what it appears to be. The rainbow imagery is such a crucial part of the Wizard of Oz mythology. It represents hope and the journey over the rainbow to a better place. But by reversing the colors, the filmmakers are showing us that Oz isn't the magical paradise people think. It's a backwards, corrupted version of that dream. What makes this even more meaningful is that we see this during what appears to be the wonderful number, where the wizard is trying to seduce Elphaba into joining his regime. The backwards rainbow serves as this subtle visual cue that everything he's offering her is the opposite of what it seems. This kind of attention to symbolic detail shows how much thought has gone gone into every frame of this film, and it adds layers of meaning that will reward multiple viewings. Elphaba's Forest Hideout Architecture. The way they've designed Elphaba's Forest Hideout is absolutely incredible and reveals so much about her character development. This isn't just some random cave or tent, it's this elaborate treehouse-like structure that shows how she's learned to live in harmony with nature while maintaining her fight against oppression. The organic architecture, with branches and roots integrated into the structure, shows how different her approach to power is compared to the wizard's mechanical, industrial aesthetic. What's really insane about this location is how it represents Elphaba's growth from a student who could barely control her magic to a fully realized witch who can literally reshape the natural world to serve her needs. The way the flying monkeys are integrated into the space, perching on branches and following her commands, creates this incredible image of her as the forest queen she's become. The magical fire she creates with just her fingers shows how much more powerful she's become, but the natural setting reminds us that her power comes from a connection to the living world, not from domination and control like the wizards. This hideout is going to be such an important location for showcasing Elphaba's transformation into the legendary Wicked Witch while maintaining her essential humanity and moral compass. The tornado isn't just weather, it's a weapon. Here's a shot most people will skim past, a tornado bearing down while Elphaba recognizes what or who is behind it. Entertainment Weekly flags that the storm seems to be controlled by Madame Morrible. In the stage show, Morrible's weather witch manipulation is lore. Here, the trailer visualizes it, reframing the Kansas twister from random fate into engineered force. That tiny implication changes Dorothy's entire entry into Oz from accident to conspiracy, which is wild. It also sets up Morrible as more than a PR villain, she's an elemental threat. That brings us to the end of our list, but what detail from the Wicked For Good trailer surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie breakdowns. This film hits theaters November 21st, and we cannot wait to see how all these incredible details play out on the big screen. That's all we got for you this time, but if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.